at least until tonight. We'll be back with the starting lineups for the opening tip-off in a moment. The open.
Tiger Network.
Presents Missouri Tiger basketball, the Kansas State Wildcats against the Missouri Tigers. Is expected here at the Hearn Center for tonight's Big 8 conference battle between Kansas State and the Missouri Tigers. Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Slayton alongside Gary Apple. When the season started, everybody thought this game might involve a first-place team, but they thought it would be Mizzou, not Kansas State. Tonight's game features two of the premier players in America, Mitch Richmond for Kansas State and the Tigers' Derek Chivas.
Well, Mitch Richmond can do it all. He's averaging 23 points a game. And, you know, he makes everybody on the floor better because he sees the floor so well, and he makes his teammates that much better, Kevin. He really can do it all for the Wildcats.
And Richmond, of course, is not at all hesitant to fire it up from the three-point range.
No, he's averaging 25.7 points a game in the Big 8. And, you know, interestingly enough, he's tied with Derek Chivas in the Big 8 for scoring honors. And that's why there are 9 NBA scouts here tonight.
Chivas has really come alive over the last 4 games since returning to the starting lineup, averaging better than 30.
Well, in his last 4 games, he's averaging 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, and most importantly, he's shooting 65% from the floor. And so he's doing it not only at the offensive end, but also with the defensive end. He may be on Richmond for a while tonight.
All right, everybody thought this would involve a first-place team. Like I said, the Wildcats are unbeaten, at least until tonight. State, that's what he has racked up in the 2 years. 20 victories a year ago. And there is Norm Stewart. He's been storming the sidelines here in Columbia for 21 years. 27 overall as a head coach, 21 in Columbia. Now let's go to the public address announcer, Chris Giovino, for the starting lineup.
Welcome to another night of Big 8 college basketball at the Hearn Center, home of the University of Missouri Tigers. Tonight the Tigers are pleased to welcome to Columbia the Kansas State Wildcats. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for Kansas State. At forward, a 6'5" senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, number 23, Mitch Richmond. The other forward, a 6'7" senior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 32, Charles Bledsoe. At center, a 6'7" junior from Washington, D.C., number 44, Fred McCoy. At guard, a 6'1" sophomore from McPherson, Kansas, number 12, Steve Henson. The other guard, a 6'2" senior from Kansas City, Missouri, number 14, William Scott. And now the starting lineup for your Missouri Tigers. At forward, a 6'10" freshman from Detroit, Michigan, number 34, Doug Smith. The other forward, a 6'7" senior from Jamaica, New York, number 3, Derek Chivas. At center, a 6'9" sophomore from Detroit, number 22, Nathan Bunchen. At guard, a 6'1" sophomore from Detroit, number 4, Lee Keltworth. And the other guard, a 6'5" junior from Chicago, Illinois, number 21, Byron Irvin.
We'll be back with the opening tip-offs from Columbia in a moment. You're looking live at the Antlers. 184th meeting between these two teams in a tradition that dates way back to before Gary was alive.
And before you were alive.
But barely.
Now, this is a great rivalry, and, you know, the Tigers have won the last 6 times these two teams have played, and Lon Kruger would really like to break that streak tonight. His club is red hot.
Well, Lon has not beaten the Tigers as the head coach at Kansas State. Mizzou swept them in 3 games last year, including the big one in the Big 8 tournament when Kansas State had the Tigers down in that semifinal game. But Mizzou was able to rally on the great game from Nathan Bunton. So he remembers it well, and he's out there again tonight to start for the Tigers. First place, Kansas State, unbeaten in conference play, 6-0, the only team in the Big 8 to have defeated Oklahoma this year. And they'll battle the 3-3 Tigers. 18 in a row here at the Hearn Center have been chalked up on the winning ledger side for the Tigers. So a lot of streaks on the line. Kansas State has won 7 in a row, haven't won 8 in a row since the 81-82 season. And the opening omen goes Missouri's way.
Kansas State out 3-2 in the zone. They'll challenge the Tigers on the jump shot early. That wing jumper will be open.
Irvin from a three-pointer. He's been hot from there. That's his 24th successive three-pointer of the year. 46% on the season from that spot for Irvin. We're going to see some three-point balls in the air tonight. Kansas State not at all hesitant in Will Scott and Mitch Richmond to put it up from there. Here's Richmond's first effort of the night. Chivas dogged him, and then Chivas able to control it. No, he loses it out of bounds.
Just as I talked about, Derek Chivas is on Mitch Richmond. Good pressure there. Richmond throws up a brick, and then the great hustle right in front of us here. Coward and Chivas both going for the ball. It just gets away from them. But again, interesting to note that it will be Derek Chivas, at least early, on Mitch Richmond.
Well, the interesting thing about these two All-Americans is that both play aggressive defense. Both are as lauded for their defense by their coaches as they are for their offense. You can see the battle now. Chivas and Richmond, the officials will watch that all night long. Bad pass from Will Scott. Coward with Irvin. Coward gets Henson in the air, doesn't get the foul, but hits the shot. Norm Stewart can't believe there wasn't a foul call.
It actually wasn't a bad no foul call. If there was to be a foul call, it was probably before the shot, but Norm doesn't like it.
I imagine Norm wouldn't smile after he complained if Coward had missed the shot. Then it would have really been a costly no call. Henson, who runs this Kansas State ball club to perfection. Off the foot of Chivas. Another thing you can point out about Richmond, if you watch him enough, as Lon Kruger looks on, and he'll be the first to tell you, is that Richmond, although he leads the conference in scoring and is the big play man for this team, is very unselfish. But he wants the ball when the game's on the line. Here's Will Scott working on Irvin. Richmond can't hit it. Rebound by Doug Smith. The Tigers with Chivas will try to run. That was a costly tactic at Oklahoma. Chivas with a three-pointer! Woo! They're smoking tonight.
They are. And there's exactly what I talked about. That wing jump shot is open, and there it was open for a three. Kansas State will have to extend the zone to try to cut off that jump shot.
Listen to this crowd. They're all on their feet at the Hearn Center. Kansas State has always been a believer in that zone, matchup zone type of defense. There's the steal by Irvin. And if Missouri continues this way, they'll have to change their minds. Great save by Doug Smith. And now Irvin makes the save, but Richmond jams it. Myron Irvin gave us a quick taste of what college basketball life's all about. Did he get you? He missed me.
Barely missed me, but he knocked your monitor around. I'm happy to be alive. He came flying past us and knocked into the table.
I saw it coming. See, I was quick. That's from being an old guy. I can get out of the way. You got to anticipate, Gary. There's the lob into Smith, but it doesn't work.
I was anticipating saving my life for the moment.
You mean you weren't shielding me?
No.
First 3 minutes have elapsed. The Tigers up 8-2 after sprinting to an 8-0 lead. Richmond, the beneficiary of that tremendous hustling effort from Irvin.
So far, Kansas State has been unable to get the ball inside to McCoy, and now Richmond trying to force it, but they will get Chivas on the blocking foul.
Norm Stewart is up and working again on the officials. He really wants this game tonight. First foul of the game against Chivas, first against the Tigers. Norm has said that the Big 8 title apparently isn't as important in his team's mind as being successful in the NCAA tournament is this year. You recall last year the Tigers won everything conference-wise, only to get snubbed by Xavier in the NCAA tournament. Will Scott out of the corner, and it's a deuce. He was just a step in front of the three-point line.
Now that guy can fire. A year ago, he was 6th in the nation in three-pointers, shot 52%. He was best in the Big 8. He can fire it, and he likes to take the three-pointer. He's not bashful at all.
Tigers' once nice-looking 8-point lead has been cut in half to 8-4.
K-State zone a little more active now. They're trying to get out and meeting the ball.
The only shot Missouri has missed is if you credit Smith with a shot on that lob pass. Here's Irvin firing it inside to Chivas. Turnarounder is blocked from behind, and Will Scott comes away with it. One thing about Kansas State, Gary, they don't get ruffled. They're a veteran ball club. Some have played together in the junior college arena, that being Richmond, Bledsoe, and McCoy, all three of which are starters. And they played for the Kansas State assistant coach Dana Altman down the road from here at Moberly.
A lot of people thought they'd be hurt by the loss of Norris Coleman a year ago, but they've bounced back.
Three-pointer from Henson brings Kansas State back to within a point. So 8 off the outset from Missouri. Kansas State answers with 7 straight, and we've got a 1-point ball game.
Well, the tempo of the game has shifted back towards Kansas State. They've slowed it down.
Howard with a three-pointer misses, and there is Richmond. Inside to McCoy, it's blocked by Button, who comes away with a loose ball and leaves 2 bodies in his wake. And a foul called against McCoy as he tried to trip him.
Well, we see one thing right off the bat. The officials are going to let them play tonight. That was a wonderful block by Nathan Button. Looked like he might have got him with the body, but the officials are going to let him play.
All right, Tigers lead it by a point. We'll be back with more on the Mizzou Television Network. Norm Stewart has primed his team for the NCAA tournament and not the Big 8 conference titles because of this. Look at the people who have missed games with injuries. Hardy, of course, lost for the season. Church, that 3-3 means he started parts of 3 games but couldn't play, had to leave because of that foot injury, as well as an assortment of other injuries. Right now, the word is he'll still be out another week with that stress fracture.
Well, you want to aim your club towards getting healthy at tournament time. You want to be ready to play in Kansas City at the Big 8 tournament, and then hopefully make a return trip to Kemper Arena for the Final Four. And right now, Norm's trying to get his club pieced together little by little. Lee Coward missed the Colorado game, came back, played very strong against Oklahoma on Saturday in defeat. But Mike Sambodi apparently has a touch of the flu tonight. He's not feeling very well, and it's been one thing after another.
I mentioned Norm up and working the officials right from the opening tip, and he has not set down yet. Tigers ball, they lead by 1 with 15:03 remaining. Reminder, this broadcast is a copyrighted presentation of the University of Missouri. Any rebroadcast or retransmission of this game without the written permission of the University of Missouri and the Mizzou Television Network is strictly prohibited. I bet you already knew that, Gary. Howard's lob, you did, is off the hands of Smith, and it'll belong to Kansas State. So the lob pass tonight has not worked. Missouri rightly feeling, Gary, that they can work it in there because they are a bigger team, but thus far they haven't been accurate with it.
Well, Kansas State really packing the zone deep inside, not letting the ball in there. Early on, the Tigers were hitting the jump shot, but they've cooled down a little bit. Been trying to force the ball inside, and they haven't been able to produce points.
Whistle underneath will go against McCoy. That's his 2nd foul. That could be crucial.
Well, Kansas State's not a big team, but they're very physical. McCoy only at 6'7", but he is the guy with the beef. You don't say, where's the beef, when you're talking about McCoy.
Ron Meyer comes in to replace him, number 45. There he is. Meyer, the senior out of Wichita, 6'9", 230-pounder. Tigers ball, and they own the lead by a point. 14.5 remaining here in the first half from the Hearn Center in Columbia. Glad you're with us along the Mizzou Television Network tonight. Kevin Slayton along with Gary Apple. Here goes Chivas to work. He hit a three-pointer earlier. That's his first miss, and Henson comes away with it for the Wildcats. Well, the thing about Kansas State, you just can't relax on defense. Any one of them will take that three-point shot if you just sag in a little bit. Here's Meyer inside. He doesn't like to have the ball.
Meyer's an excellent passer for a big guy, and Bledsoe with the ball right now. Former player of the year in St. Louis.
Beaumont High School, three-pointer from Richmond, and he has 2 for 2 from the outside. Make that Scott, I should say. 5 now for Will. Tigers trail for the first time tonight.
Missouri needs to get better rotation on the basketball because Kansas State has stepped up the pressure on their 3-2 matchup zone. Tigers need to move the ball.
Irvin with a 3, and he hits it. Irvin has hit 2 3-pointers tonight, and that ends the run for Kansas State at 10 straight points. 3 of the first 4 Tiger field goals tonight have been 3-pointers. That is something that has not been that big of a component in the Tiger offense as Meyer travels and turns it back to Mizzou.
Tigers got a break there. Richmond with an excellent entry pass. Meyer was behind the defense and then took some steps.
1-point Missouri lead with 13 minutes left in the half. Chivas lets it fly just inside the 3-point line. Derek has 5. Well, that's what started the way the Tigers started out with their 8-point run. They were letting it fly from outside, and now after Kansas State had countered with 10, Mizzou goes back to it, and they lead by 3.
Derek Chivas so hot, shooting 65% from the floor in his last 4 games, and we see why.
Henson, who hadn't been shooting for Kansas State, hits a 3-pointer. I don't think they're going to play inside tonight. Everybody's just going to stand out and play a game of horse.
As you mentioned, Henson has been ice cold lately.
Chivas answers at the other end. 7 for Chivas.
Wow, you think these guys don't know the scouts are here tonight? Everybody knows it.
Even Henson, who hasn't been shooting for Kansas State, he pops home a 3-pointer.
We look across the way, we see Don Nelson with the Golden State Warriors. His eyes on Chivas and Richmond.
Here's Richmond, who makes him look good, and a whistle and a foul under the basket. And the basket will count.
I believe they got Bledsoe away from the ball, pushing off. They'll score the basket. It'll go over to the Tigers.
First foul against Bledsoe, 3rd against the Cats. 4 now for Richmond.
Watch it here. Richmond up with a jump shot. Look carefully now as Bledsoe clears Doug Smith out of the way with the elbow. Good call.
Kansas State shooting so much better from the field here than they did a year ago. Their worst shooting outing of the season last year as Irvin travels. The Wildcats were able to shoot just 33% from the field in their loss here in Columbia last season. 11:50 left in the half, all tied at 15. Let's take a timeout for a word from our sponsors on the Mizzou Television Network. Kevin Slayton along with Gary Apple, we talked about this one being a game of horse, and that's why top 6 3-point field goal shooters in the conference are on this floor.
And it showed early on tonight, both teams shooting 67% from the floor, 6 of 9. And so they're lighting it up. If this pace keeps up, it'll be a run and gun affair.
I mentioned what happened to the 14th ranked Wildcats a year ago when they came in here. They were ice cold, but during their 7-game winning streak, which they are in the middle of now, they have shot 50% or better from the field in only 2 of those 7 victories. So they have done it without shooting well. Tonight they are shooting well. A reminder, Tiger basketball is brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. 11:49 remaining in the half. We're squared at 15. Oh, a great steal by Chivas. Then he has it knocked away and it belongs to the Tigers. Great anticipation from Chivas. And Norm Stewart again wants a foul.
Norm wanted a foul. Chivas made the great defensive play, knocked the ball away, and then Scott trying to get the ball back, hammered Derek, but there was no call. Norm wanted one, but the Tigers are very active on the defensive side of the floor.
Smith has it stripped by Meyer, then he gets away with a push. And Lon Kruger wants that call. We talked about the 3-point shot. These 2 teams have hit 6 of 7 right now from the 3-point area. Missouri has the only 3-point miss, and that was Cowards.
Well, the one thing that's become very apparent this year in college basketball is that teams are starting to use the 3-point shot as a weapon. There were too many teams anti-3-points a year ago. They were unhappy with the NCAA for coming up with the rule, but it's there. You have to use it, and so teams are beginning to make it an integral part of their offense.
Sandbody in there for the Tigers. Irvin passes up the 3-pointer. Sandbody replacing Button. Now Smith wanted to pass it, and a foul underneath goes against Sandbody, who just came into the game. That is the first against the Tigers junior out of Washington, Missouri.
Doug Smith with the 15-foot jump shot that does not go down. And watch Sandbody, couldn't quite see it, but he pushed off before the ball came down. Again, Kansas State, not a big school, but very physical.
Still tied nearing the 11-point mark. Great feed inside. Oh, he missed the gimme. Richmond won't miss those often. Coward inside to Smith. Back out to Coward. Had the three-pointer. Didn't take it.
Every time the ball goes inside, the guard on the strong side doubles up on it.
Chivas. Oh, he hits the shot. 9 for the Tigers All-American. And the foul against Meyer, his first.
Here you see the pass inside to Chivas. Couldn't go up on the alley-oop. Hangs. What beautiful body control. Got hit from behind and from in front. Had a chance for the three-point play.
What the NBA scouts will like, and the fans as well, is the way Chivas can change hands in midair, even while he's being murdered. And he still was able to convert it.
Marvelous body control.
This is a marvelous basketball player here. One of the finest in the country.
And I'll tell you something about Chivas. Too many people misunderstand him as a player now as we have full court pressure, trap on the ball. Too many people misunderstand Derek Chivas. He doesn't talk to the media very often. He's a very introverted young man, very quiet. Does his talking on the floor.
Three-pointer from Richmond is golden. They still haven't missed. 7 for Richmond. Chivas has 10. And I'll tell you something about Chivas. When you get to know him, he's a very friendly, gregarious type of guy. Little bit prone to the different, but in a good way.
Well, you know, when you really get to know him, as you say, he's got a bit of a hot dog in him. Wants to be a TV announcer one day.
He's a fun type of a person. Here's Coward with a three-pointer. This is unreal.
When Lee Coward let that shot go, Byron Irvin was standing out about midcourt, had his hands up like a three-pointer. He knew it was it.
And now it's going to be a game of one-upsmanship. At each end, each player is starting to think three. The heck with penetration.
And Norm says, where's the foul?
It works against Doug Smith. That's his first. Lonnie Kruger's very happy to see it. I was talking to Lon before the game, and I said, how's it going? He said, could be better. We wouldn't have to be coming in here. He knows how tough a place this has been to win. 18 bodies have been left in the wake in a row now in this building. That is currently the longest streak in the conference at home.
Chivas doing a nice job on Richmond, away from the ball, denying him the ball.
He's got it now, and he'll go to work. Oh, Smith with the block. Their bodies everywhere. And a foul on Richmond. That is his first.
Mike Sambodi with a wonderful position. He gets by Chivas. Sambodi comes from the weak side. Oh, no question he was there. Beautiful play. Watch the other angle here. Sambodi plants himself. Richmond, before he takes off, crashes into him. No question on the offensive foul.
I would have rather had the foul not count and been able to watch the block again. A beautiful block by the Tigers' sensational freshman, Doug Smith. Bunting back in the game. Here's Irvin for three, and that one doesn't fall. First miss from that range from Byron Irvin. When the season started, that's what the Tigers had hoped for from him. But he had a confidence slump about midway through the first part of this season, but he's picked it up since. Richmond and Bledsoe slugging it out. Henson in heavy traffic. Now Richmond gets Chivas in the air. Into Bledsoe, and it won't go. Sambodi rebounds for the foul against Kansas State underneath. Against Meyer, it'll be his second.
Boy, they are playing physical out there. Richmond can't seem to do anything. Bledsoe's shot falls. They're working so hard for their shots. And then Meyer gets called for the foul. He ends up on the ground.
These two coaches have their team built in their molds, and they play like their coaches' personalities. Both very tough. Both will fight you every second of the way. And you can see them both up and working. They won't sit down all night, either one of them. They're both up now. And it's a tribute to these teams that they play exactly like they're coached. And a foul inside is against Henson. The basket will not count. First foul against Henson. Now that'll put the Tigers in the bonus.
Of course, Lon Kruger, twice the Big 8 Player of the Year. When he was a player at K-State, as you mentioned, he was very physical, very strong player, very hard-nosed. And that's the type of team he has. Blue-collar workers. Doesn't have the big guy, doesn't have the aircraft carrier, but gets the most out of his team.
Carlos Diggins in there for the Wildcats, number 25. And
Into the game replaces.
He replaces Mitch Richmond. I had the pleasure of working a game with Jack Hartman, the former great Kansas State coach, this past weekend, Gary, and we started talking about the Big 8's coaches. You know, they don't get the credit nationwide that some of the other conferences coaches do. But I'll tell you something, I'd rank these coaches, not just here tonight, but in the Big 8, up against any conference in the country. You're talking about Johnny Orr, a legend. You're talking about one of the finer young coaches, from Billy Tubbs, who has that program just cooking down in Oklahoma. Leonard Hamilton, who coached many years as an assistant at Kentucky, is now at Oklahoma State. Larry Brown, of course, is undeniably one of the finest ever. Lee Coward leads a 4-on-1.
Boy, I love the way he takes the ball to the goal. On the 4-on-1, never hesitated. Strong move to the bucket. For a little guy, he plays with no fear.
People wonder why you wouldn't pass 4-on-1, but all coaches will tell you, if you've got the ball and you think you can score, no reason to pass it. Tigers lead is 5 with 7:50 left in the half. Here's Bledsoe, has it stripped by Chivas. Irvin with Button, 3-on-3. Howard dishes it inside, and the foul is whistled underneath the basket against Howard. That'll be his first, and a fourth against Mizzou.
Well, what's happening out there, everybody's getting very physical, pushing and shoving. Coward looking inside, but they got Samboni on the foul.
Tigers by 5, 7:40 left. We'll be back after we pause for these messages from your local station. Back live at the Hearn Center from three-point range. Kansas State yet to miss, but the Tigers are staying with them. They opened up hot.
Both teams came out of the game very quick tonight. Missouri, after K-State showed that they could hit the three-pointer, started to push the man-to-man defense out a little further. Norm probably told them, got to get out there, got to get on them, stick them. Don't let them take that three-pointer, they'll hit it.
Kevin Slayton along with Gary Apple. Glad you could join us from the Hearn Center, where the Tigers have won 18 in a row. Kansas State is unbeaten and atop the Big 8 Conference ladder, with Lon Kruger bucking for Coach of the Year honors. One of those streaks will end tonight. So after the Coward foul, Kansas State will inbound the ball. Mark Dobbins in there now for Kansas State. He will be the trigger man.
Full court pressure here. Here's the trap. There's the trap on the ball.
Richmond is still out of the lineup for Kansas State, and not only is he a great scorer and defensive player, but he can handle the pressure as well. I'm a little bit surprised that Lon has him out of there.
So with 7:25 to go in the half, this is a very important time for Kansas State. With Richmond on the bench, if they get behind, they could be in trouble.
Buster Glover also in there for the Wildcats, number 11. He has the ball now. His quickness is something. You may not see it because he's so quick, even if you watch for it.
And why do they call him Buster? Well,
better than Buddy. Henson, oh, what a move, and got two players jumping.
Great move. Just to finish the story, if your name was Renee, they call you Buster too, hopefully.
Unless you're a girl.
Right.
I'll call you Buster S. 6:40 left. The Tigers lead shrunk to 3. Devin Rolfe getting ready to come into the Mizzou lineup.
Well, that's what the
Button, that short one on the baseline. Look at Samboni work the offensive board. Catch it in.
That's what the Tigers have to do. They have to get the ball behind the defense. Button missed that time, but it creates all kinds of things inside. Samboni there for the rebound. They have to get the ball into the paint.
Tiger lead is by 5 over the Big 8's league leader, the Kansas State Wildcats. Dobbins wanted to take it and passed it up. 25-20, the Tigers with a 6-minute mark approaching.
You know, as you watch the Tigers play defense, we talked about the great coaches in this league. You've got to give Norm Stewart a lot of credit. He's never wavered from the man-to-man defense. He believes in it like a religion.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Forces Henson to take a shot he didn't want. Great defensive work, as you mentioned, Gary. Here's Chivas, and a foul underneath. And they called Chivas for the push-off. That's his second foul. With 5:40 remaining in the half, he doesn't want to get a third.
No. Coward looking inside for Derek here. Watch him with the right arm just push away. And they caught him. as he pushed McCoy away.
Devin Rolfe into the lineup. He's not sure which way he's going. He doesn't get into that often. He's got to check with his mates.
He certainly doesn't get in there at this time of the game. Usually sees the garbage time at the end of a blowout.
He is in there replacing Coward.
Good story, though. Walk-on. Made the most of his time here at Missouri.
Richmond is also back in for Kansas State. Now you may see Richmond try to take it on Chivas. Chivas is still guarding Richmond. Don Pruman knows there's 2 fouls in the Tiger All-American. Look at Bledsoe work inside. He's brutal underneath. His first bucket of the game. Up until that point, Kansas State had all of their scoring from 3 players, and now they've crept to within 25-22. Irvin trying to do something about it, but he can't hit the 3-pointer, and McCoy has it. 5 minutes remaining.
I'm sorry, you talked about Bledsoe. He's one of those bizarre guys who shoots free throws no better than he shoots from the field. In fact, he jumps on his free throws. He's been an enigma to Lon Kruger, but he keeps him in there. Very heads-up player on the floor.
Richmond has been quiet since the early going. He has 7. He seems to come up with his best games against the best competition. Here's McCoy in the lane. Tigers leading by 3 with 4.5 remaining, and they have the ball. Devin Rolfe in there replacing Coward. There's Rolfe in the corner. Chivas draws 3 purple jerseys, and his shot is one that he'd like to have back. Samboni will get the goaltending and Bledsoe. 4 for Samboni.
You mentioned that the second the ball went into Derek Chivas, 3 men around him, but when the ball gets into that position, it creates so many things, like Samboni picking up the loose ball and then getting the hoop on the goaltend.
27-22, the Tigers by 5, 4 minutes remaining in the half. Here's Glover, in and out. Look at that inside rebound by Bledsoe, and the foul will go against Mizzou. So Bledsoe has come alive now with 2 baskets off the offensive board, and Samboni's nailed for his 2nd foul.
Boy, that was a close call inside. Shot goes up by Glover, in and out. Bledsoe comes up with the rebound, and Samboni barely touched him with the shoulder.
Well, he slapped at him as Bledsoe got the rebound. But if that was the foul call, first of all, it was ticky-tacky. Secondly, the basket shouldn't have counted.
I think they called it on him as he went up, and he barely grazed him with the shoulder. And that
Smith, excuse me, Gary, Smith and Coward back in for the Tigers now as Rolfe and Samboni come out. Bledsoe's a miserable free throw shooter, but he drills that one. He's just a 44%er going into last Saturday's game, but he hit the 2 that won it. Right now, a 2-point Tiger lead. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors on the Mizzou Television Network. With Gary Apple, glad you could join us tonight along the Mizzou Television Network for this battle between the 14th-ranked Wildcats of Kansas State and the Big 8's preseason conference pick, Missouri's Tigers. And the Tigers lead it by 2, 27-25, with 3:53 remaining in the half. And Gary, the field goal percentages have stayed hot.
Well, we expected a great ball game here tonight, and that's what we're getting. Both teams shooting over 50% from the field. The Tigers at 55%, K-State at 56%. And who would have thought at this time of the year, if I were to say we'd be playing in Columbia, one team would be 3-3 in the conference, the other team at 6-0. Who would have thought Missouri would have been the team at 3-3? But that's the great thing about college basketball. A lot of parity this year.
Howard wants to get it inside. Tigers have had most of their success from the outside, and there's Coward with a 3-pointer. That's his 2nd of the night. He has 10. He had his career best 20 against Oklahoma on Saturday.
That's what they need to do. They get the ball inside, boom, kick it right back out for the open jump shot. Got to get that pass in a hurry and out in a hurry.
A reminder, the Mizzou Television Network, sponsored in part by Pounce Insecticide from FMC. Guaranteed cutworm control at about half the price of Lures Band. Pounce from FMC as the Tigers cleared and head the other way. Coward to Irvin! And a foul!
They don't get any better than that. What a great heads-up pass by Lee Coward. What made that play happen, Coward saw it wasn't there on the break, floated up, and then, boom, spotted Irvin underneath for the 2 and the foul.
One free throw for Irvin.
From another angle, look at how sharp that pass had to be through traffic.
If you can pass like that, there's a place for you on a basketball court anywhere in America. So for all the little guys out there, as Norm Stewart looks on, take heart. There was the winningest coach, by the way, in Big 8 history. 171 conference victories for Norm Stewart as Irvin makes it a conventional three-point play. 9 for Irvin in the game.
One of the great things about Lee Coward, he sees the floor so very well, and that's a real mark of a great point guard. He knows exactly what's going on all over the floor.
2:50 remaining. The Tigers' lead is 8 now. Kansas State needs something from Richmond, and they need it in a hurry. Will Scott lets it fly. That's a three-pointer. That's his second three-pointer. So when we have that lull without a three-pointer, Coward got it started. And now, at the other end, Will Scott answers.
And that was a rainbow.
Chivas, a little bit short. Kansas State now could cut it to 3, or with a three-pointer, could cut it to a bucket. Boy, this crowd is into it tonight. They are filled to the rafters here at the Hearn Center. Here's Meyer inside. Oh, uncontested. He missed it and fouled with the more difficult hook. His first bucket of the night, and Kansas State trails by just 3 at 33-30.
It was a good play by Meyer. Didn't give up on the ball. Stayed right with it as K-State now remains in the 3-2 matchup. They've been that way all game long. They haven't tried to put anybody man on Chivas.
Minute 45 left in the half. This game has been everything everybody thought it would be. Chivas off the baseline has it. 12 for the Tigers All-American.
There's the quick passing I'm talking about. Either inside or laterally. Coward gave it right back to Derek. Didn't give the defense time to react, and he had the jump shot.
5-point Missouri lead. Henson out of the corner. Here's Richmond. He's pulled tonight and hit the 45-second clock. It belongs to Mizzou with 1:19 left.
Substitutions for Missouri number 52.
Gary Leonard into the Tiger lineup now, and he replaces Nathan Buttons. And Sandbody replaces Chivas as Lon Kruger. Telling Mitch Richmond, hey, don't lose it, don't lose it. It'll be there when it counts.
Well, Chivas has done an outstanding defensive job on Richmond so far. He may be getting a bit frustrated. We talked about the fact that he's cold, but he's not getting good shots. He's not getting the head fakes and the 10 to 12-foot jump shots he's used to.
Hey, I like Lon Kruger, both personally and as a coach. Oh, look at that block. Bledsoe let Gary Leonard feel it back at him. And now a foul goes against Meyer, and that will be his third.
That is what we call in the playgrounds a Spalding-burger. Watch inside. Gary Leonard takes the good pass, goes up, and thank you very much. Are you hungry, Gary?
How about Bledsoe at 6'7", getting up there to block the 7'1" guy's shot?
And then you see Coward, fearless, taking the ball right to the hole. I don't think there's a more fearless point guard in America. Maybe David Rivers at Notre Dame.
Well, I'll tell you, as far as guts are concerned, this Coward can match up against any. He played with severe pain against Oklahoma State a couple of weeks ago in the game we did, when he injured his tailbone and his forearm. Had to miss the next game because of the pain. He hits the free throw here. Coward has 11. Remember, I said his career high was 20. That came last Saturday. But this is not something that's surprising. Over the last 4 games, he's averaged 15 points and 7 assists.
And one of the great things about Lee is he is an excellent free throw shooter. And you've got a guy who handles the ball as much as he does, who shoots fouls as well as he does, 83% at the end of ball games. That'll be very important.
And that's something that was a weak part of his game a year ago, Gary. He has really gone to work and improved on it.
Now Sandbody on Richmond.
45 seconds left in the half. Tigers by 7. Richmond wants it. That's something about Richmond. He's so unselfish. That's why the rest of the players on this Kansas State team love to see him get all of the accolades in the headlines. Look at the move he makes, but came up short. What a tip by Bledsoe. Missouri will have the last shot if they so desire. The shot clock is off and just 20 seconds remain. Tigers lead is 5.
That was a great tip in by Bledsoe. Went up with the left hand and got it. With a 3! He lulled him to sleep and hit it with 7 seconds left. Henson has to hurry. And the horn sounds.
before a roaring packed house at the Hearn Center. We'll be back with some of the halftime festivities after this on the Mizzou Television Network.
Present the nation's #1.
Back live at halftime, Kansas State and Missouri battling it out here at the Hearn Center in Columbia. You can see Missouri out in front 40-32, an 8-point Tiger lead. And they have been led by the little man, Lee Coward. He has 15. I'm Kevin Slate along with Gary Apple. 15 for Coward at halftime. He's been amazing.
Oh, he's a great player. And again, you mentioned he's playing with a little bit of pain, still not fully recovered from the bad tailbone. And he also hurt his shoulder when he took that nasty spill at Oklahoma State. The one thing I love about that guy is the way he really sees the whole court, knows where everybody is. On that one break where he hit Byron Irvin underneath, he saw that Irvin really wasn't open when the break was happening, let things settle for a moment, and then boom, saw him open up, got the pass to him. Does everything well out there.
Derek Chivas, the Tigers All-American, has 12, but the big story is that Mitch Richmond has been kept pretty much under wraps. He started out hot, Gary, and then he was rested on the bench. And the Tigers have done a great defensive job on Richmond to this point. But he always seems to come up with a big second half. We'll be back with more along the Mizzou Television Network after this from your local stations. Back live at the Hearn Center, Kevin Slayton along with Gary Apple. The Tigers enjoying an 8-point lead here at halftime, largely because of the work of Lee Coward and Derek Chivas. Coward with 15, Chivas with 12, and they've held Mitch Richmond to 7 points in a great defensive first half for the Tigers. He got all 7 of those early.
Derek Chivas did a wonderful job on Mitch Richmond inside McCoy here, who's not that tall, just at 6'7", but 4 people surround the ball. Tigers, everybody going to the ball, and they have completely shut McCoy off in the first half.
Yeah, McCoy had his career high about 5-6 days ago when he hit 25 points. At the other end, the Tigers have been brilliant offensively.
That's what I talked about. The good entry pass, and boom, right back out to Coward for the open three-pointer. Does not give the defense enough time to react, and that wing jump shot will be open.
Coward hit 3 three-pointers in the first half, and then Kansas State down at the offensive end, they got into the act.
Ron Meyer inside right here. Chivas could not get the block from behind. When Meyer comes off the bench, he gives them a little bit of size at 6'9". Stays with it nicely right here. Misses, gets it back, and gets the bucket to keep it close.
Well, he made the difficult shot there and missed the gimme.
Yeah.
So that Ron Meyer doing it the hard way. Charles Bledsoe, of course, was awfully tough inside for Kansas State in the first half with a couple of offensive baskets off the offensive board.
He goes to the basket, so very strong. Look at that left-hand tip in right there. We talked about the fact that he is a former player of the year, high school-wise, in St. Louis.
This guy's catching up on his reading.
Yeah, we see that.
All right, 40-32, the Tigers lead here at halftime, and we're going to go take a close-up look right now at the University of Missouri here in Columbia. This is the tail of the tape from the first half. You can see the shooting percentages are extraordinarily good. But the three-point field goals, you see about halfway down there, Gary, the teams have combined to hit 11 of 16 from three-point range.
And Lee Coward leading the barrage for the Tigers. He is 3 of 4 from three-point range. And the one thing you notice when you see these statistics is just how well the two teams are playing. So many times you get two great teams together, and they really negate each other and don't play that well. Tonight we have two good teams, and they're both playing very, very well, bringing the best out in each other.
You see at the bottom what the Tigers do when they out-rebound the opponent, and they've led by Mike Sandbody with 4 rebounds off the bench. 40-32, the Tigers leading here at halftime. We'll be back. The second half getting ready to start as the teams have returned to the floor. More coming up on the Mizzou Television Network. Here at the Hearn Center, Kevin Slayton and Gary Apple. Missouri leading at 40-32 here at the half. Lee Coward, as we mentioned, Gary, has been unstoppable.
Lee Coward runs the show out here. As Lee Coward goes, so do the Tigers into Button. Right back out to them for one of his 3 three-pointers in the half, and he leads the Tigers in scoring.
Leads all scorers in the first half. Chivas with 12. Byron Irvin had a pair of three-pointers. Then he had a conventional three-point play to give him 9. Chivas was able to avoid picking up that third foul. We mentioned that Richmond has been held to 7 He's averaging better than 23 a game and leading the conference in scoring.
Chivas has done a wonderful job on him so far. As you looked at the fouls, both Chivas and Richmond have 2 each. It'll be important for neither one of them to pick up an early one here in the second half.
Kansas State with a 7-game winning streak on the line. Mentioned they haven't won 8 in a row since the 81-82 season. And the Tigers, on the other hand, have won 18 in a row in this building. In fact, since the Hearn Center opened in 1972, they've won 193 and lost only 33.
You talk about what's fun in college basketball. What a great game we have here tonight. But look at the kids up in the Antler section. Some of the signs up there. Talking about Lon Kruger, they're calling him Freddy Krueger from the old, look at that. Freddy Krueger, the guy with the fingernails. What movie? Help me here. Halloween?
You're on your own, baby.
I love college basketball. I love the enthusiasm. There we go. There's the Freddy Krueger doll with the fingernails.
The Antlers got a lot of national publicity for their annex against Iowa State and Jeff Grayer and ambushing the team. But other than that, they keep it all in pretty good fun. And I know Norm Stewart doesn't want them thrown out of here, that's for sure. A reminder, Tiger basketball is brought to you by the Missouri Beef Industry Council and Missouri's beef producers. Underway in the second half. If Kansas State is to maintain its unbeaten record in the Big 8, they'll have an 8-point deficit they'll have to overcome in the second half.
All right, Byron Irvin begins on Richmond here in the second half. They don't want Chivas to pick up that third foul, so let Irvin check him for a while.
Chivas is working against Will Scott. And all he needs is a little inspiration to shoot the three-pointer. McCoy misses, and there's Doug Smith to clear it. Very quickly, Irvin goes baseline. He's tough when he gets on the move, but he misses that one, and Bledsoe has it. Here's Scott. Gets rid of Coward and can't hit it. Inside rebound and a follow-up bucket for McCoy. First basket of the night for Big Fred.
What makes a great rebounder? Not always great jumping ability, but he had the wonderful inside position for the rebound of the easy basket.
Kansas State ranked 14th in the country by both wire service polls. Another lob that goes awry. And Coward will do well to do. Oh, look at this! A monster dunk!
Lee Coward spotting Smith all alone for the jam, and then Lee stood there with his hands on his hips and said, Norm, I saw him. He was wide open.
Well, he did, and he was.
And he was.
First basket of the night for Smith, who had been averaging 17 points a game over the last 6 games. Kansas State has done a wonderful job on him. Richmond with a three-pointer. It's tipped around, and Smith is taking control here. 2 rebounds and a bucket here in the second half for the Tiger freshman.
Tigers trying to push the tempo, play their game. They'd like to get this into a track meet. K-State remains in the 3-2 matchup zone. They've been that way all game.
Bad pass from Smith. Henson left alone, but he won't shoot it. There's Will Scott with a three-pointer. Kansas State has gone cold. Tigers picking up the tempo. Irvin nearly traveled. Smith will take that shot. Oh, the feed to Chivas! 14 for Derek Chivas, and the Tigers lead swells to 10, and listen to the crowd.
Smith is one of the great passing big men in the country. On that 3-2 zone, that diagonal pass inside is open if you're looking for it, and Smith spotted it.
McCoy fouled by Bunton. First foul against the Tiger sophomore.
Let's take a look at it inside. Nathan Bunton sticking the knee out as McCoy tried to go to the middle, and a good call by the official. Nathan didn't necessarily like it, but he was not in position.
Just under 17 minutes remaining. Kansas State's trigger man is Richmond. Quickly, Henson sees the opening and hits it. I'll tell you what, for a guy who's been in a shooting slump, He's been unbelievable tonight. He leads all Kansas State scorers now with 10.
Seems to have his rhythm down, had all the time in the world right there, took the ball, squared himself up to the basket, and hit the three.
Of course, when you're left alone like that and you're any kind of a shooter, you'll knock it down more often than you'll miss it. That's the difference between shooting around on your hoop at your house and playing in a ball game. Chivas with the turnarounder. That's why he can do it in the middle of the ball game in heavy traffic. The lead again is 10, and Chivas has 16.
Kansas State has softened up on the defense a little bit. Chivas, only one guy on him when he picked up the basketball, and he shot right over McCoy.
Look at Richmond on the baseline. He pulls up short. He's done that twice tonight. It belongs to Missouri. Richmond holding up a little bit, Gary, on his jump shot when he gets in close.
The defense has been excellent on Mitch Richmond. He goes by Chivas there, but Smith from the weak side comes over to put some pressure on Richmond.
One thing Richmond won't do is just keep firing it up and take his team out of the ballgame. This is the reflection of Lon Kruger here. Very patient until they get what they want. McCoy to the hoop and draws the foul against Doug Smith, his second. And the second against the Tigers here in the second half.
What happened right there, Derek Chivas came from the weak side, tried to steal the ball, and when he missed it, it left that entire side open. McCoy took it to the basket, and Smith could do nothing but pick up a foul.
Leonard replaces Nathan Button. I want to make mention to all Tiger fans out there watching around the state that Missouri Tiger Golf Tournament, May 8th and 9th at Tantera. For more information, you call Tom Schultz, who runs the Tigers Athletic Scholarship Fund here at the university. Tom Schultz of the Tiger Scholarship Fund for the Missouri Tiger Golf Tournament, May 8th and 9th down at Tantera. I played in that last year. It's a fantastic two-day tournament and a lot of fun for everybody involved. McCoy is good on 1 of 2.
Won't be long now until we have the sticks out of the closet.
Mine are out of the closet. They're in the car.
You're so impatient.
I don't believe in waiting. 15 and a half minutes left. Howard can't hit that one. You should play in that tournament, Gary. It's a very good event and a lot of fun.
Well, I've been waiting for an invitation from you.
Well, you got mine.
Okay.
I don't matter, though.
Kansas State has to get back into their offense right now. They're looking confused.
Bledsoe inside, doesn't get the basket, but does draw the foul. And they seem to be content now to go in and work on the Tigers' big men.
Richmond, while he's not hitting the shots from outside, is trying to help his teammates. And inside, he spots Bledsoe right here, who picks up a foul.
Third foul on Doug Smith. And he'll...
Sorry to interrupt. That's what we were saying, that he makes everybody on the floor better.
Smith leaves the Tiger lineup, and Button comes back in. Bledsoe, whom I mentioned, just has had all kinds of trouble from the free throw line this year. Hits that one. I think those 2 free throws that he made at home last Saturday to win the game against Nebraska with 2 seconds left have made him a better free throw shooter. It's all mental.
Confidence.
And he's perfect with those two. You'd never know he was shooting 50% from the line. Tigers lead is 7. We'll be back with more on the Mizzou Television Network. Live at the Hearn Center, Kevin Slayton along with Gary Apple. That's the story. Tigers by 7 with 15-13 remaining. The 14th ranked unbeaten Kansas Wildcats, unbeaten in conference play. Coming in here 14-4 with a winning streak of 7.
Tigers have a 7-point lead. One of the key reasons Kansas State has cooled off a little bit. They're now just shooting 45% from the floor. And that's made a big difference. They haven't gotten the type of shots they'd like in the second half. And a lot of that is due to the Missouri defense.
Who would have thought that at this juncture in the game, each team will have only made 5 trips to the free throw line? That's the story, though. They both hit 4 of the 5.
That's good. The officials are letting them play a bit tonight.
Doug Smith in somewhat of a precarious foul situation with 3. He's on the Tiger bench. Chivas playing with 2. Here's Leonard in the key. And he hits a big one. Oh, what a shot of confidence. You can just feel it rise in him when he hit it.
Well, Gary Leonard is 5 inches taller than anybody on the floor for K-State. He wanted the ball. They gave it to him. He just turned and fired.
Richmond working against Irvin, has it knocked away and stolen by Chivas.
But Turek is playing a great game.
Here's Leonard again going to work. Can't get the roll, and a foul is going to go against Bledsoe over the back of Irvin. Second foul against the senior from St. Louis. Beaumont High School.
And they've turned out some good ones at Beaumont. Watch inside here. Leonard wants the ball, misses the shot, but Irvin has the beautiful inside position. Bledsoe had an arm on his shoulder, just pushed him out of the way.
Chivas gets it and hits it. 18 for the senior All-American from Jamaica, New York. He is now third in all-time Big 8 scoring.
Why, this crowd appreciates the defense the Tigers are playing. Standing ovation right now.
Chivas surpassing Tim McAllister of Oklahoma. He now trails just Danny Manning, who's second, and Wayman Tisdale, who leads. Look at Richmond with a strong move. He now has 9 points. The lead is 9 for the Tigers with 13:40 remaining.
Norm Stewart wanted to push down at the other end of the floor. Bledsoe may have gotten away with one.
Irvin with a 3! His third of the game, and he has 12. Boy, nothing like that three-point play to bring the crowd to life.
Byron Irvin is playing with such confidence on the floor. In his last 6 games, he's shooting 58% from the floor, as we now have a foul on Coward, and he just feels it. You can see it in his eyes. He wants the basketball.
Coward knocks Richmond to the floor and picks up his second foul. Lon Kruger told me before the game he knew this was a den of wolves to walk into. I mentioned Chivas now in third place. Trailing Tisdale and Manning. Will Scott with a three-pointer. Well, they're starting to heat it up from there again. That's 3 of those for Scott, and he has 11. You know, you can't bury Kansas State by hitting three-pointers because they'll come right back and do it. But one thing about Missouri, Gary, it's good to see them hitting them. That's not been a part of Norm's offense. Will Scott begins to get physical with Gary Leonard, who just laughs. Will Scott, and here's the reason for the laughter, 6'2", 165. Leonard 7'1", 256. He needs a step ladder to reach it.
Gary Leonard kind of looks like, what did I do? But as you watch here, he has his arm wrapped around Scott's head.
He thought it was a fly.
Well, Scott had reason to be a little bit steamed, I think.
Sandbody comes back in, and he replaces Nathan Button. That is a telltale sign, though, of the improvement in the aggressiveness of Gary Leonard's play this year. He's a different player, has been all year. Tigers by 9 with 12:45 left. What a big win this would be for the Tigers if they could do it. It'll be tough for them to get a 20-victory season before the Big 8 postseason. They need at least one road victory against some tough competition down the road. Bledsoe with a turnarounder over Leonard.
Now that is a great move by Bledsoe. Fake to the baseline, then spun back towards the middle and hit the short jumper.
Irvin's penetrating pass. The foul goes against McCoy, would be his third.
Early on, the officials were letting them play. Now they're starting to call it a little bit tighter. And they get the foul against McCoy right there, his third.
Both of these teams have done it pretty much tonight with their starting 5. Missouri has gotten just 6 points off the bench. Kansas State has gotten just 2, and that from this man, Ron Meyer, who checks into the lineup.
Over the course of the season, the Tigers have gotten 31% of their scoring from the bench. Tonight it's been relatively nil, so we'll see as we go down the stretch how that will affect them.
Of course, part of the reason is because some of the bench is playing in the starting role. Church has been hurt. Of course, Lynn Hardy's been out for most of the season. Howard wants the three-pointer. Can't look at Sandbody hit the offensive board, and he hurt his right leg.
Oh, boy.
That's the one he hurt earlier in the year. Scott draws the foul. Now, let's see if they call it a goaltend.
Mike Sandbody is really hurting.
I think they counted it.
Yes.
Basket is good for William Scott.
Mike Sandbody holding his right leg as he came down wrong on the other end of the floor. They will count that basket, and Scott will have a chance at a three-point play here. Watch the ball go up right here. It's knocked around. Sandbody, right there, you see him grab the leg. He just landed wrong.
And if you've ever done that, you know the experience of pain that you saw in his face. Scott makes it a conventional three-point play. The foul was against Coward. That's his third. 11:55 remaining. The Tigers' once impenetrable lead has been shrunk to 4. We'll be back with more on the Mizzou Television Network. Along with Gary Apple, Mizzou by 4. Kansas State just won't be counted out because of the three-point shot that they are so successful with.
K-State has improved their free throw percentage over the past couple of minutes, shooting 50% now. And Lee Coward so far in the second half has been shut out. And that has been very, very important in Kansas State getting back in the game.
And he now has 3 fouls. Lon Kruger and his team trying to win the Big 8 title for the first time since the '77 season. When Jack Hartman was the head coach, Norm Stewart's team won it last year. And 5 other times under Norm's tenure.
They had a great team back in '77. Curtis Redding was a freshman on that team. They had Mike Evans, Darrell Winston, a lot of talent.
I asked Jack Hartman the other day if he ever dreamt of the three-point line when he had Mike Evans and Chucky Williams. He said, my gosh, I still dream about what would have happened. Of course, Norm Stewart can have the same types of feelings when John Sunvold was here. A reminder, the Mizzou Television Network, sponsored by Shelter Insurance. At Shelter, personal service is always a matter of personal pride.
K-State remaining in the zone. Tigers need to rotate the ball a little quicker. There's Chivas on the wing.
Kansas State could pull to within 2.
A lot of time left in this basketball game. Over 11 minutes.
In and out. The rebound battled for. The battle won by Bledsoe. And now a foul goes against Meyer. That'll be his 4th.
Scott couldn't get the bucket to go down. Bledsoe working very hard. He couldn't get it to go down. And Meyer inside got called for the foul. And again, it is his 4th.
Charlie Bledsoe, a very hard worker underneath for Kansas State. Lon Kruger appreciates that kind of effort. That's the way he played the game. Norm Stewart, ditto.
Kick it back out right there.
You don't play hard for these two coaches. You don't play. Howard trying to penetrate. Irvin out of deep in the corner. That's not where he wants to be. Henson battling with Sandbody for the loose ball. It's pushed nicely to Coward by Sandbody. Good job from Mike Sandbody. And he bounced back from that pain that he suffered a few moments ago. Here's Button where he likes to be. Oh, look at Bledsoe get up and block it. But it belongs to the Tigers anyway. The dean of the law school, Dean Dale Whitman, comes up with the ball.
Button gets the ball along the baseline. 3 purple jerseys around him. Richmond, Bledsoe, and Scott had a great block in there.
Chivas took a shot from there on an inbounds pass a few moments ago and hit it.
You know, just dumb. I mean, you're looking for an A in your next class, I think, in the law school here.
Hey, look at Chivas move. Oh, and won't fall, and there's Bledsoe again. Bledsoe is taking command of the board. The only thing I know about A is it's the first letter in the alphabet. 4-point Tiger lead, 9:45 remaining.
You might be getting AC next semester.
McCoy down low, but there's a foul called, and it may work against Sandbody from the look on his face.
Sandbody working hard inside against McCoy. He gets behind him, knew he was in trouble. Little push from behind. Very minor, but they got him on it.
3rd foul against Sandbody. McCoy will go to the line where he's a 75% free throw shooter. Bob Sunvold with the headsets on. Of course, you know Norm Stewart and Rich Daly, his other fine assistant coach. And very responsible for developing the Tigers-Detroit connection, Rich Daly.
Missouri over the limit very early here in the second half, and that could be critical.
Derek Chivas comes out. It could be very critical when you consider that Kansas State shoots 71% from the line, but better than 82% in the last 3 minutes of each game. McCoy hits both. The lead is 2 with 9.5 remaining. Tiger fans are coming to their feet. Missouri needs someone to get the hot hand. Smith has it bounce off his feet, but it was knocked away by Bledsoe and touched last by Charlie. Along to Mizzou.
Like Kansas State really has it packed in along the basket, not letting the ball get inside to either Smith or Bunton.
Missouri has scored. Missouri needs someone to get the hot hand. Smith has it bounce off his feet, but it was knocked away by Bledsoe and touched last by Charlie. Along to Mizzou.
Like Kansas State really has it packed in along the basket, not letting the ball get inside to either Smith or Bunton.
Missouri has scored just 13 second-half points. Byron Irvin has been quiet for a while. Tigers need to hit from the outside again with Howard and Irvin. We mentioned Howard has been shut out in the second half. Great give and go. Irvin misses, but Sandbody has the rebound, and a foul will go against the Tigers. And I think Sandbody, Bob Sundvold, and Norm Stewart are living. Sandbody gets his fourth.
And Sandbody couldn't believe it. You saw him with his arms up. Bob Sundvold hot over the call. Great set play right there. Irvin couldn't get it to go down. And Sandbody, boy, it looked like he had all ball. Somebody went flying. It might have been an Academy Award job.
It was Henson that went flying.
Irvin swung through along the baseline, missed the shot. Sandbody up and maybe over the back of Henson. It was close.
Well, nonetheless, Henson's the wrong guy to foul. A 91% free throw shooter. You don't think the Antlers are upset by that call, do you? Lon Kruger's not.
I haven't seen Bob Sundvold that upset in a long time. He came flying off the Tiger bench. Norm still wants to know what's going on.
Well, Derek Chivas now comes flying off the bench. He's going to get into the game as soon as he can, which is right now.
For Missouri, number 3, Derek Chivas.
Well, if nothing else, all of this delay is causing Henson to take his time a little bit more than he may want. A great rhythm free throw shooter wants to get up there and shoot it. I mentioned 91% for the free throw line. That's why.
Henson's an excellent athlete, period. He competes after basketball season for the decathlon team at K-State.
Norm Stewart wants to know why Henson's shooting. He thought someone else should have been at the free throw line. Henson hits both. 12 for Steve Henson. He's only averaging 7. We're tied with 9 minutes remaining. Norm Stewart wants a timeout, and he gets it. And he's going to go after the officials right now. Lon Kruger wants a technical. We'll be back to wrap it up for you and tell you what happened. This is the Mizzou Television Network. I told you we'd wrap up what happened here. Norm Stewart, this is during the timeout. He was complaining, as I said, that Henson was the man at the free throw line. Lon Kruger then came over and decided Norm was getting the better of the officials, and he just stuck his 2 cents worth in. Here he comes now, and he wanted to make sure that Norm wasn't going to get the last intimidating word.
Well, the Tigers claiming that Henson was not the guy who was fouled. From our
Nobody was fouled.
Well, if there was a foul from our replay, it did look like Sandbody may have gone over Henson's back. But Norm didn't think so, and he was very livid about it.
At any rate, we're tied with 9:05 remaining. Again, I want to mention that the Missouri Tiger Golf Tournament scheduled to come at Tan-Tara May 8th and 9th. So you can get more information on the Mizzou Tiger Golf Tournament by calling the Tiger Scholarship Fund to Tom Schultz in his office. That's May 8th and 9th at Tan-Tara. What a great event.
Tom Burkett, one of the graduate assistants, looked over and said, hey, it was not Henson. There was no way it was Henson.
Doug Smith spinning on the baseline, gets it blocked from behind, and the Tigers want to foul there and don't get it. 8:45 remaining. Kansas State now slowly taking control of the board. Remember, Gary, remember what we showed you at halftime. Missouri 12-2 when they out-rebound the opposition.
I was just going to say the tempo is completely in K-State's favor right now. They've slowed the game up. They've turned it into a half-court game, which is in their backyard.
Very patient, 10 seconds on the clock. Richmond will take it. You can bet on that. Offensive foul. That'll be his second.
Offensive foul on Mitch Richmond.
Irvin able to draw it. Again, some great. Well, we'll check that whether that's his second or third foul. Tied with 8 minutes remaining. The official word now is that Richmond has 3. Here's Doug Smith, blocked by Bledsoe. He has amazing leaping ability for a 6'7" guy. That's his third block tonight.
Bledsoe playing in another planet right now.
Oh, that'll be on Bledsoe. He threw a cross-body block into Nathan Button. That's his third.
Very important at this moment for the officials to get control. Oh, look at him clear out with the left arm on Nathan Button. No question on the call.
Lon Kruger has a question, and he's investigating with the officials. So very quickly, Richmond and Bledsoe pick up their third foul. 2 trips down the floor for the Tigers defensively that didn't yield any Kansas State points and got 2 fouls for them. Doug Smith with an aggressive move, and the Tigers are back in the lead.
Tigers have not been able to find many seams in that zone tonight. Right there, Smith found one and aggressively took the ball right to the hole.
4 points for Smith. Oh, Irvin with a quick steal. Chivas with Coward. Tigers by 4. Lon Kruger wants a timeout when they cross midcourt, and he'll get it. Listen to this crowd. They're standing at the Hearn Center. Lead it by 4. We'll be back with more on the Mizzou Television Network. 5 remaining, the Tigers by 4. This was a big turnover.
Byron Irvin got it all started with the quick hands. Chivas runs the 2-on-1 break. Didn't see Coward quick enough, but when he finally did, Coward with a great fake, lets the defense go by, and then the easy 2. That is picture-perfect basketball.
While I have a moment, we want to pass thank yous along to our affiliates across the state of Missouri and beyond, and to Joe Castiglione, the executive producer of the Mizzou Television Network. Tonight's broadcast produced and directed by Kevin Schenk. The Tiger fans coming to life here at the Hearn Center, where Missouri has won 18 straight. Will Scott with a 3-pointer quiets the crowd. 17 for the senior out of Kansas City, Missouri. We also want to thank Kansas State Athletic Director Larry Travis and head coach Lon Kruger as they check a timeout on the scoreboard, the clock malfunctioning. And to the Tigers Athletic Director Jack Lengel and head coach Norm Stewart. So we thank all of those folks.
I think what happened after the basket, clock didn't start. Clock puck hasn't moved in a while, and now Norm Stewart wants to know whether he can come up to midcourt to discuss this with the officials.
I don't think he wants to discuss that with the officials, do you?
I just think you maybe want a little excuse to say hello.
He doesn't care about the clock. 57-56 right now. Lon Kruger looking on as his team trails by a point. They were down by as many as 10 here in the second half. And as we mentioned, his team on top of the standings, unbeaten at 6-0. Oklahoma with 6-1. That only loss coming to Kansas State at Manhattan. And the Tigers in Nebraska, along with Oklahoma State, the surprising Cowboys won 2 conference games in a row. One of them at Nebraska.
They have, and Norm Stewart just came over to the official and said, we have TV tonight, meaning that we're doing the game, and that they have the ability to use the television monitors to see if the clock did indeed start. Norm wanted them to come over here and check the instant replay to see if the clock started since the last dead ball possession. So we'll see if they do that.
We're going to try to see the clock here in the last shot.
6:32.
This was the last Missouri basket. Coward off the fast break. Now you can see the clock stop right there at 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Now we're down to 6:32.
Well, it was malfunctioning quite a while ago because as we came back out of the timeout, it said 4:55. So who knows what's right? The missing 3-minute gap. Where is it?
Now this is bizarre.
There's the key.
This is bizarre.
Mystery and drama at the Hearn Center. Lon Kruger would like to end it quickly as long as he has more points at the end. Right now, he trails by a point.
Now what happened? Did it go down to under 5 minutes?
It was at 4:55 when I looked up when we came back from the break. It's now at 6:32. It was at 7. It went from 7:09 to 4:55 while we were in commercial, but nobody played.
All right, I think they've got it right now.
6.5 minutes remaining. Tigers by 1 with the ball. Doug Smith with 3 fouls. Mike Sambodi with 4. Those are the Tigers in foul trouble. Luke Howard also has 3.
Wildcats have been in the zone all the way. They have been no man-to-man tonight.
Irvin wants that 3-point opportunity. Chivas will get it and take it. Can't hit it. Rebound tip. McCoy loses it as he falls down. He traveled.
Chivas missed the jumper. McCoy got the rebound and just lost his balance. Looked at first like he may have fallen over Smith's foot, but he didn't.
Howard with a 3 that won't go. Knocked in. That'll belong to Missouri. Great save by McCoy, but Henson had it bounce off him and out of bounds. You know, this Kansas State team, Gary, reminds me a lot of Missouri a year ago. Howard, another 3 that goes in and out. In the sense that they have a solid team, well-coached, and a superstar in Richmond, as the Tigers did last year in Chivas, that they know has to have the ball at this time in the game. Now let's see if they look for him. They're setting up a pick for him to get it.
Irvin has been on Richmond the entire second half.
There he goes. Can't hit it. Rebound to Bunton. Howard leads the break, throws it behind Chivas, but there was Smith to retrieve it.
Well, Coward wanted Irvin, who was filling the lane, left his feet, and Irvin was open. By the time he was about to come back down, Irvin was not open.
Pass goes off Bunton's hands and out of bounds across the way. Turnover to the Tigers, and Kansas State will own the ball. 5:11 remaining. And by the NBA scouts seated at that corner of the table. One of them showing very quick hands and deflecting the ball.
Don Nelson's been away from the Celtics for a few years now.
57-56, the Tigers. This game has gone back and forth ever since Missouri opened a 10-point lead early in the second half. McCoy with an air ball. He'll hear about that. Richmond's follow is missed. Look at Bledsoe hit the board. 13 for Charlie Bledsoe. And Kansas State has the lead with 4:40 remaining. That's their first lead in a long, long time.
I think Bledsoe has really matured as a basketball player. Went with the Big 18 to China, to Beijing, China.
Howard with a 3. Well,
very, very critical. We're on an even number, 60-58.
Look for Richmond to take most of the Kansas State shots the rest of the way. There's a three-pointer from him, and he answers. 12 in the game for Richmond. That's 11 under his average, but that was a big one. That puts Kansas State back in the league with 3:50 left.
That's where you see a veteran.
Oh, look at Chivas with a three! How's that for a response?
Well, it's money in the bank time now. The Stars will come out tonight. Richmond and Chivas starting to heat it up.
21 for the Tiger superstar. And here's Richmond now. You think the NBA scouts are getting all they wanted from these two tonight. These are two players that want the ball at this time of the game. Richmond with a three.
I don't believe what we're seeing out here.
15 for Richmond. Boy, as a coach, you have to love. Look at Chivas. Now he'll answer. And he hits it. It's incredible.
And as you look across the way at the scouts, they're all just smiling.
Norm Stewart is fired up. He's doing the Norm dance on the sideline. He's storming right now. We're seeing an exhibition from two of the great players in America with the game on the line. It's like they're challenging each other.
Yeah, Richmond wants the basketball. Just get me the basketball.
And Chivas has had the answer for every great Richmond shot. Henson in trouble. Belongs to Missouri.
Henson went too far there into the land of no return. He got triple teamed and then lost the ball.
We talked about the great three-pointers in this game, the top 6 in the conference. But the guy who's not in there is Chivas, and he's hit the last 2. And he's hit 3 for the game.
But he's the money man. He's the guy you want with the ball at this time of the game with now 2:15 to play.
Tigers lead is 2. 24 for Chivas as he climbs up the Big 8 Conference career scoring ladder, trailing only Wayman Tisdale and Danny Manning.
Kansas State still has a foul to give. They've only got 5 team fouls.
And there's another one. Doug Smith bucket rolls in, but it won't count. Foul against McCoy's number 4.
And that was the one they had to give right there. McCoy coming over to try and help out. Got him with the body before Smith went up. The basket will not count. And now they'll be over the limit on the next one with 1:54 to play.
Davis calling for the ball. Remaining. Tigers by 2. Big possession because if they can do something with it, that means even the three-point shooting of Kansas State might erase their lead.
Still 20 seconds on the shot clock. Tigers want to try to milk this for all they can.
And ideally, with the shot. The lob has not worked tonight and nearly backfired again. Three-pointer from Will Scott answers at the other end.
Oh, we are getting a show tonight. This is a treat just to sit back and watch.
19 for Scott, and the game of horse picks up again. Tigers by 2 with 51 seconds remaining, and you can see it ticking away. Howard has 23. I'll tell you what, they're staring each other in the eye. The first one to blink is going to lose this game. The foul is against Bledsoe. And that's his fourth.
Well, Bledsoe probably pushed Smith right there, got away with it. Norm was screaming for a foul, and then he finally did push him, and they caught it.
What a splendid basketball game this has been.
And two great coaches working 2 masterful game plans. And they all look like geniuses when you're hitting the three-pointers with this much regularity. And
mention it's like two gunslingers. The last one with a cartridge in his chamber has the upper hand. Right now, Missouri has that. And Doug Smith to the line for two important free throws, and he rolls the first one home. Now that means a three-pointer cannot keep the Tigers.
Doug Smith shooting 63% from the free throw line during the year, and also 63% in the final 3 minutes. So he feels no more pressure in the closing moments than he does early, but this is a big one.
Oh, two big free throws for the Tiger freshman. Kansas State needs 2 possessions. They call timeout with 38 seconds left. Tigers lead by 4. We'll have more from the Hearn Center after this from our local station. The shooting percentage is from the three-point area tonight. Both teams have been spectacular. Missouri's hit 11. Kansas State has hit 10.
Well, we're certainly getting a display out here. And Mitch Richmond wanting the basketball with the game on the line and showing why he is an All-America. Sensational player.
Derek Chivas just as equal to the task at the other end. 24 for Chivas, 23 for Coward, who has 5 three-pointers tonight. Chivas has 3. Byron Irvin has the Tigers' other 2. Or other 3, I should say.
Yep, 38 seconds now. We'll see if they go for the 3 right off the bat.
Look for Richmond here. Working against Sandbody. They'll set up some kind of a screen. They get it to Will Scott. He has to drive the hoop. Can't hit it. Look at Bledsoe. 28 seconds left, and immediately Kansas State calls a timeout. And you can't say enough about the senior from St. Louis for Kansas State. He has been wondrous on the offensive boards tonight.
He's averaging 8 rebounds again. Averaging 8 rebounds a game, and he has done the job tonight. Strong drive there by Scott. The three-pointer was not open. Bledsoe crashing the board, picking up the bucket, and then K-State immediately calling the timeout with 27 seconds to play, and they trail it by 2.
15 now for Bledsoe. Well, I would be interested to see if Mike Sandbody stays in the game now for the Tigers, because he's had such a problem with his free throw shooting. And I know that with Mark Cooper, he's trying to eavesdrop. Certainly part of it is Mike Sandbody to the game and gets the ball. Foul him now. Foul him yesterday.
Well, the 2 guys they would want to foul would certainly one be Sandbody, who is on the floor. And as you look at the other players, how they shoot fouls in the final 3 minutes, Smith is a 62% shooter. Lee Coward is an 80% shooter. Byron Irvin shoots 80%. Chivas shoots 81%. And Button, in the final 3 minutes, hasn't missed. So Norm Stewart has good free throw shooters on the floor, except for Sandbody.
He will be the inbounds man. Let's see what happens. Byron Irvin coming in. Somebody realized that Mike Sandbody doesn't belong out there in this situation.
That's a good move right there.
I was very surprised to see Sandbody out there, because he wouldn't have to have the ball in order for somebody to foul him.
Right.
And they foul Coward immediately. Let's see if they give him an intentional foul. I don't think they will.
Foul is on Kansas State. William Scott, his second.
So Coward, who missed a very big free throw at Nebraska down the stretch, will get a chance to redeem himself here. 26 seconds remaining. Now Sandbody comes back in to replace Byron Irvin. There was Sandbody's board power in there.
The crowd didn't like the 1-and-1 call, but unless you literally reach around and grab the guy, at this point in the game, you're going to get the 1-and-1 call.
And even if you do that, you'll normally get the 1-and-1. You have to maul the guy in the corner. Coward is perfect. 24 for the Tigers sophomore from Detroit. Each point he scores adds to his career high. He may be able to ice it with this one. A three-pointer would still tie the Tigers. Not now. 25 for Coward. Here comes Richmond, a 3. Oh, he's unbelievable, and they call it seconds left.
Timeout.
18 for Richmond. He's everything they build him as.
Well, certainly you look to your All-American to come through for you. Mitch Richmond had no intention of doing anything but shooting the basketball. He got it, came right over midcourt, never even looked, went right up over Sandbody, and drilled the three-pointer. Wow, we have seen an unbelievable exhibition tonight from the two All-Americans, Chivas and Richmond, and as a result, it is a one-point game with 19 seconds. And what this also does now, Kevin, is gives Kansas State, after hitting that three-pointer, the ability to give up the foul, have two free throws at the other end, and still have a chance to tie with the three-pointer.
Well, once again, we will look to see whom Missouri sends off the bench. Well, it must be a pleasure to coach a Mitch Richmond and a Derek Chivas. The battle of the gunslingers. Once again, we want to thank all of our affiliates across the state of Missouri and beyond for helping us out with these broadcasts all year. Our executive producer of the Mizzou Television Network is Joe Castiglione. And our producer-director, Kevin Shank, of tonight's broadcast. Thank you to Larry Travis, the Kansas State Athletic Director, and head coach Lon Kruger, and some of the other folks that are working behind the scenes in the truck tonight. All doing a great job. Neil Harwell and Kathy Nelson working hard on the graphics. Jack Lengel, the Missouri Athletic Director, and of course Norm Stewart, who helped us out. Two of the fine coaches in the game of basketball working this one tonight, Lon Kruger and Norm Stewart. 19 seconds left. Sandbody is not out there. Henson covering Coward so well, and now they foul Bunton. Henson did not want Coward to get the ball, and that was excellent defense away from the ball.
Boy, Doug Smith almost could not get the ball in. He almost looked like he was going to call a timeout. Then spotted the open man and got it to Nathan Bunton.
Bledsoe has fouled out. That could be crucial if this game goes into overtime.
Doug Smith almost looked to throw it one way, then spotted Bunton. And Bledsoe, knowing he had to get the quick foul with 18 seconds to go, does so, and only 1 second elapsing from the game clock.
That's where it would have been wiser to allow Will Scott to commit the foul. He was standing right there.
For Missouri, number 42, Mike Sandbody, back in replacing Byron Irving. For Kansas State.
Only 1 second elapsed off the clock. Norm Stewart's talking to his own scorekeeper, his clock operator. He wants to know how. I'm at home. That's not supposed to happen at home.
He said at least 5 seconds should have been gone, but let's compromise, maybe 2 or 3.
I think he has a point. Certainly more than one.
Yes.
It took Scott and Bledsoe a couple of seconds to surround Bunton. Well, here's the story. 72% free throw shooter on the line, doesn't have a point tonight. He had 28 in the Big 8 tournament game against the Wildcats a year ago, and he hits that one. Now it'll take a three-pointer to beat the Tigers. Missouri wants a timeout if he makes it. Rich Daly, the assistant coach, up and talking, telling Lee Coward. And Bunton drills both, and Missouri calls the timeout. So Doug Smith, Nathan Bunton, and Lee Coward all hitting crucial free throws down the stretch to give the Tigers that three-point lead with 18 seconds left. Well, you'd look for Richmond or Will Scott, certainly for Kansas State, to take the three-point shot. But don't forget, Steve Henson is very accurate from that range. He has a couple of them tonight. So it could come from the holster of any one of those three.
I'll make a suggestion. That's what they pay me for. 18 seconds to go. Tigers lead by 3. Both teams are over the limit foul-wise. Why not give up the quick foul? That way, they don't have a chance to tie with a three-pointer. Maybe something Norm Stewart is talking about.
Well, I'd make him beat me with a three-pointer before I'd give him 2 easy ones, though. You give him 2 free throws, you stop the clock, number 1.
Well, I think you let a little time run off it, and then maybe consider giving the foul.
Well, we'll see what the strategy is here at the Hearn Center before another packed house. Tigers have won 18 in a row here, the longest winning streak at home in the Big 8. Kansas State has won 7 in a row. They're 6-0, sitting on top of the Big 8 Conference right now, as we are here at the mid-season mark. They must go to Oklahoma this weekend to play.
And you better believe that Billy Tubbs will have revenge on his mind.
You know, if you look at Iowa State, though, they are 3-0 on the road, or Kansas State, they're 3-0 on the road already. Now, if they even lose 3 of their remaining 4 road games, including tonight, and just take care of their business at home, they would finish with just 3 losses. Last year, that was good enough to win the conference. I mentioned that to Lon Kruger before the game, and he said, yeah, the problem is I don't see many teams beating Oklahoma the rest of the way, and they only have 1 loss.
What happened right there was Kansas State came out. Missouri wanted to get a look at what they were going to do, and they called a quick timeout after getting a look at it. They now have 1 more timeout left.
A reminder, tonight's game brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. 18 seconds remaining, a 3-point Tiger lead. Again, tonight's game, Kevin. Kevin Slayton and Gary Apple, glad you could join us along the Mizzou Television Network. Norm Stewart, he'll work the officials till the final buzzer.
He's a master at it. All the good coaches are. You know, they really know how to work an official. He's been on it from the time the game started.
Well, somebody will be assigned to shadow Mitch Richmond from the pass inbounds until he drops at the other end of the floor. The last time, no one picked him up, allowed him to dribble the length of the floor and can a 3-pointer. If they do that quickly enough this time, Missouri will have to hit some more free throws.
Well, just to look at the 3-point shooters K-State has on the floor, they do have Henson, Scott, Richmond. They can all fire from 3-point land.
Oh, a bad pass! Scramble for the ball. Henson comes up with it. Now Richmond, 13 seconds left. McCoy, of all people, hits a 3-pointer! I can't believe it! Missouri calls timeout, but a foul against Richmond, unbelievably! Unbelievable!
And I believe they got, let's see, Mitch Richmond on a push. Push Sambodi in the corner.
5 seconds remaining. We're tied. I cannot believe he fouled.
I think they called it an intentional foul as we look at this whole play transpire. Henson on the floor, ball was loose. McCoy came up with it. It was close whether it was a 3 or not.
The thing, you saw Richmond yelling at McCoy, hey, give it to me. Watch Henson here. He mauls Sambodi and no foul was called. Sambodi hits the free throw for the intentional foul. Oh, we talked about Sambodi's free throw shooting. You don't think that'll give him a dose of confidence, do you? And Missouri gets the ball.
I can't understand why Kansas State committed the intentional foul with the game tied.
Well, the only thing you can think of is that Richmond wasn't aware that that was a 3-pointer and then it tied the game. That's the only thing that would explain it.
That is a horrible mental error.
The officials signaled it very clearly. Oh, now they have to foul Chivas. And Richmond fouls out. Well, the Wildcats got the miracle they wanted, but then fouled Mike Sambodi. And the storybook fairy tale ending is that Sambodi, the much-maligned free throw shooter, stands up there calmly with 5 seconds left and drills 2 home to win the ball game. Chivas will go up to shoot, but these are academic.
This has been one of the more bizarre finishes we have seen in a long time. McCoy hitting a 3-pointer to tie the game up at 75. And then, with 5 seconds to go, Mitch Richmond committing the intentional foul on Mike Sambodi, and Sambo goes to the foul line and Cooley sinks 2 free throws.
Show you how strange this finish has been. You'd swear it was Halloween. Fred McCoy hadn't even attempted a 3-pointer all season long before he took the ball away from the scoring machine, Mitch Richmond, and drilled it. Will get game honors if he drops this one.
He makes this one, it's over.
seconds remaining. The list is long and distinguished. Doug Smith, Lee Coward, Mike Sandbody, Nathan Bunton, Derek Chivas all went to the line in the last minute of the ball game. All hit both free throws.
I don't know if we can, but I'd like to re-rack that whole final play and take one more look at it. I could swear that Henson, for starters, got away with a foul. He went reaching for the basketball, falling over the basketball, and there was no call made.
There was no doubt. He mauled Sandbody.
Yeah.
And that inbound pass then became a mad scramble in which Kansas State came up with the ball. Henson got it to Richmond. Then McCoy took it from him. We're going to get a look at it.
Let's watch it here. 18 seconds left on the clock. K-State trailed by 3. Sandbody made the steal and then lost the ball. Henson right there diving on the floor. Should have been called for a foul. He wasn't.
Now look at McCoy taking it away. Look at Richmond yelling, I want it, he says.
Well, McCoy definitely was a 3. His foot was not on the line. Definitely was a 3. That was the question. And then Richmond committing what was a bonehead, out-and-out bonehead intentional foul.
Well, as I mentioned, he may not have seen in his defense the official signal for three-pointer. Thus, he would have had to commit the foul because they would have trailed by 1. I'm sure that was his thinking. He couldn't have been thinking he was tied. All right, final salvo from Kansas State. Off the glass, Missouri has won it 79-75. And the Tigers move to 14-5 and send Kansas State to an identical record. However, the Wildcats remain in a tie now atop the Big 8 Conference lead with Oklahoma, where they must journey this weekend and battle with the Sooners. What a final finale in the last minute was everything, Gary.
It sure was, Kevin, and this is the type of learning experience the Tigers will need. You need to play in games like this in the conference because they get you ready for the postseason tournament when every night is like this. And the Tigers survived the test tonight.
We'll be back to wrap things up from the Hearn Center after these messages from our local stations. Back at the Hearn Center where the Tigers have knocked off previously unbeaten Kansas State 79-75. And Gary, what a finish.
Great basketball game. The cream rising to the top. Mitch Richmond, key points down the end. Same with Derek Chivas. What a finish.
All right, for Gary Apple, I'm Kevin Slayton saying so long from the Hearn Center where the Tigers win it by 4. Tonight's game was a presentation of the Mizzou Television Network.